What's up, everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. This is your Week 2 waiver wire. Before we get into it, just a couple quick things. This is just a portion of the list. If you want to see the full list, get onto the website. And also, if you got any questions, post them in our forums. We get a lot of questions on our videos, but it's just a lot easier for us to answer them in the forums. It's all in one nice, neat spot. We're not having to jump to all these different videos to answer the questions. We have an army of experts in there as well, especially Sunday mornings. We're really active in there, so go ahead. Post your lineup questions in there. But let's get into the must-adds in all leagues. We'll start at running back. Carlos Hyde's definitely a guy I want to talk about. He's owned in 70% of leagues. I know that's a lot of leagues, but Gore's owned in about 100, so Hyde should be owned in 100 as well, because if this guy gets a chance to start, he's going to be great. He looked great week 1 with the touches that he did have. Hyde could be amazing if he gets the chance to start. Mark Ingram's another guy I want to talk about. Also owned in 70% of leagues. Found the end zone a couple times. He's not going to get that many touches, but on that offense, the running back that's getting the goal lines definitely has value. Ingram's going to be someone you're going to want to pick up if he's still available. Justin Forsett's going to be a very hot ad this week. I'm sure everyone's seen the Ray Rice news. Forsett looked better than Pierce week 1. Pierce got benched because he fumbled. It's going to be kind of a mess, but until it gets shaked out and figured out, both these guys, Pierce and Forsett, need to be owned in all leagues, because whoever does end up winning that job could have value for the rest of the year with Ray Rice out of the way. Terrence West is another guy that needs to be owned in more leagues. He got a lot of hype this preseason. He was owned in 40% of leagues going into week 1. But Ben Tate went down with injury. West came in, looked pretty good. So, West was a guy that actually had a chance to maybe take over that starting job even if Ben Tate stayed healthy. And now that Ben Tate's hurt, you got to think that the chances are even better. He needs to be owned in more leagues at this point. Devontae Freeman's going to be a guy that I keep talking about, because I do really feel Steven Jackson's going to get hurt this year, and I do feel like Freeman is going to be more valuable than Jacquizz Rodgers if Steven Jackson goes down. But I still think at this point Freeman should just be owned in deeper leagues. Bobby Rainey should be picked up in deeper leagues as well. Those Doug Martin owners hoping for a Doug Martin rebound year, not off to a great start. He got hurt week 1. Rainey came in. He's looked good whenever he's had a chance to start. So if Martin ends up missing any time, Rainey could be definitely a sneaky pick up and play, or just a stash on your bench if you got Doug Martin just for some security. Take a look at some receivers, one to add in deeper leagues. It's Andrew Hawkins. We talked about him a lot during the preseason. He did pretty much exactly what we thought he was going to do for the Browns. He's going to get a lot of targets. He's going to be a PPR type guy. He's definitely someone you're going to want to take a look at. Allen Hurns, we got to talk about him. The guy had an amazing first game. He's a rookie, 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. So now the fantasy world is left asking themselves, was it a fluke? I think it kind of was. Obviously he's talented, or else he wouldn't have done what he did, but don't do anything crazy, picking him up with the #1 waiver or dropping anyone really good to pick this guy up. Yes, he's someone that you're going to want to take a look at, maybe stash, put him on your bench, but don't drop anyone great for him, because I do think it is a little more fluky. Couple of guys to add in even deeper leagues. One guy I do like is Brian Quick, only owned in 5% of leagues. The Rams' offense is pretty awful, but Quick is maybe one of the only guys that I would kind of get excited about at this point. It looks like the Rams are probably going to be playing from behind for the entire season. Quick got a lot of targets week 1. I do think he's going to be a guy that can rack up some catches for you. And Robert Woods is another guy that I like. He had 6 targets week 1. He had a pretty solid rookie year. The Bills' offense isn't terrible. They added Sammy Watkins. E.J. Manuel might take a step in the right direction. Obviously they got the running game with the 1-2 punch there that the defense has to pay attention to. I don't think the Bills' offense is going to be anything amazing, but there are a couple pieces coming together where they could have some good games. So I don't mind Robert Woods. Got a couple quarterbacks for you. The first one's Geno Smith. I've been talking about him a lot. And he had a pretty good week 1. He had a couple of turnovers which hurt his fantasy numbers, but the Jets' offense is a lot better this year. They have a lot more weapons. I think Geno, like I've been talking about in previous videos, he's going to take a step forward this year, and I do think his upside overall could put him top 12, top 15 quarterback this year for fantasy. Jake Locker's another guy I like. With Geno Smith, I like him because of what he can do with his legs, and Locker is a sneaky guy as far as what he can do with his legs as well. We haven't really seen a full season out of Locker. He's been banged up throughout his career, and I think last year was kind of the season that I was excited to see what he might be able to do, but he got hurt, and this year, hopefully he can stay healthy, but I do like his upside, and he has a couple of the best young receivers in the league, so that offense, I think, is headed in the right direction if Locker can stay healthy. And then one pick-up and play defense for you. I talked about it earlier as far as how I hate the Rams offense, so that's why I'm going with Tampa Bay as a pick-up and play defense for you. I like them week 2. I think they could have a big game. So again, this is just a portion of the list. See the full list, get on the website. Brett and I will be back later this week, and I hope you all had a great week 1.